Hello students, today we will be going over 9.5. This is page 196 in your new blue packet. Our objective, I can find the area of parallelograms and triangles. Our first question, how do you find the area of this shape? So that's this one. How do we find the area of that? Well, first of all, it's a rectangle. Actually, let me do that in a different color. And for rectangles, we have a length here and a width here. Our formula for the area inside is length times width. Okay. Next, what would happen if we cut this triangle over here and moved it over here? Say it was the same shape here. We have a rectangle, cut this off and move it here. Does the area change? No, we just cut something off and moved it over to there and pasted it on. So this actual shape is called a parallelogram. That's an M at the very end if you couldn't tell, okay? So our equation is actually going to be this length times this width. Okay. Sometimes they might name this base times height, like this be a base times height. If that's the case, then we could say base times height. So whether they call it the length or the base, we take that and multiply it times the height, and that's the same. So our first one down here, 10.5 miles, and this is 8 miles. Now we need to find the area, so all we have to do is the length, 10.5, times the height, 3.8. So you take your handy dandy calculator. It's awkward for me to write, so that's kind of hard. In fact, let me change it here. Let me grab a calculator. And when we go 10.5 times 3.8, I rewrote it right there. Ten 0.5 times 3.8, 39.9. So it equals 39.9. Make sure you have units, and all of your units were squared when you're finding area, because it's actually how many little square units each of these would make in here. So that's why it's square units. Now when we get to number 3, it's a little bit harder because we can't quite tell exactly. When I count the number of little spaces here, I counted 6. Now if I go by my height, looks like it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say this height right here is 5. So then our area equals 5 times 6. So area whatever the units are, we don't know what units these are, so we're just going to go U squared. And that's your answer for number 3. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the next page. You'll need to do some of the others on your own. We're going to actually jump all the way to page 198. So again, you'll have to do 197 on your own. Okay. Find the missing measurement. This should have an E right here. So measurement. A triangle has an area of 32 inches squared and a base of 38.3 inches. Did we miss somewhere where the area of a triangle? We better go back and do like number 5 or number 7 on page 197. Okay, so we're going to go back first and do this one. This is page 197, and that is 6.5 meters. And the area of a triangle, if you look at the diagram below where it has a rectangle, what do we know about that? The ideas for area of a rectangle for a triangle equation. See if we try to find the area of this, just the triangle there, it's half of the rectangle, right? So we say the area equals half base times height. Okay? So then for number 5 here, our base is 11 right here, and our height is 6.5. So we say area equals 1/2 times the base, this is the 11, times the height. We take our handy dandy calculator. We go 1 ABC 2, so 1/2 times our base is 11 times our height is 6.5. 35.75. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. Since the 5 is 5 or above, it makes that 7 go up to an 8. So we say 35.8 meters squared. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and do number 8 on that same page, where you see an ABC. Now remember, your area is base times height because it's a triangle. But what is the height? We're going to say this is the base. These are not considered the height. The height has to be perpendicular to the base. So if we go from 3 to 8, the height here is going to be 5. From A to C goes from 2 to 8, so that's going to be 6. So we say the area is 1/2, base is 6, height is 5. Half of 6 is 3. And if we don't know the units, we just put units squared, because we need to make sure it's in square units. Now I can go ahead and go to page 198. We have to determine the shape and then determine what formula we're going to use to solve the problem. Okay. Find the missing measurement. All right, a triangle. So we're going to use triangle formula, 1/2 base times height, or length times width. An area is 32 inches, and the base is 8.3. So what we don't know is the height. So we're going to solve for h here. So we need to multiply this first. So if I go 8.3 times 0.5 is 1/2, so I'm just going to go 0.5. 4.15, I'm going to round that up to 4.2. So I say 4.2h equals 32. Divide by 4.2, and it's going to give us our height. So I say 32 divided by 4.2, 7.6. So we say our height is 7.6 inches. It's not squared because it's the height. Okay. Next, we're going to go on to number 3. If we count these across, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, first of all, what is it? Parallelogram. We know that's length times width, and we know that the length and the width have to be perpendicular. 1, 2, 3, 4. So width equals 4. Height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we say it's 4 times 6, which is going to be 24. 24 units squared. Okay? You can do the rest, students. You rock.